Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Ignorant Intellectual on Media. Today, I thought we would talk about one of my all-time favorite films and my actual favorite Canadian film. All right, so it's called Exotica, and it's directed by Adam Egoyan. All right, and it stars. I'll put her name here. I keep forgetting her name or I mispronounce it, but her name is here, and she stars as an exotic dancer in a strip club in Montreal. But there's actually a bunch of stories that there's the story of her, her boss, and the DJ or the announcer um, in the strip club, and then there's other stories as well. There's a story about a man who imports illegal animals or eggs um, for his pet shop, and there's some other things that also goes on. So there's a few stories all um, how would you independent of each other, and you don't know what they're relation to. So it's kind of confusing when you first watch the film. But as the film goes along, all these stories coalesce into a climax of an ending of this film. And when the climax happens, it goes, wow, it kind of blows your mind. And and then you'll usually, I mean, in my experience talking to other people, they'll watch it for the first time and they'll have a bit of difficulty watching at the beginning because these different stories seem independent of each other. But as the film goes along, um, you see how they start relating to each other. These stories. Then at the end, they um, they all come together, and that's when a person says, "Wow, this is a very really good movie," right? And then they'll rewatch it like pretty soon afterwards to watch it again, knowing what the ending is, right? So I'm not going to tell you what the ending is, but that's the kind of story this is, and it's an extremely good story. Um, and it's my all-time favorite Canadian film. And because of that film and The Sweet Hereafter and a few other films by Adam Egoyan, um, I consider him the greatest Canadian director of all time. All right, so that's what this film is about. I can't really delve into the plot and everything else because it'll ruin the film. It's one of those films, like I've mentioned in previous videos, that um, if you explain it, you kill it, right? So I'll leave the mystery around it intact. I'll leave the mystery around it intact. But if you haven't seen that film, I would urge you, if you can actually find it, anyways, to watch the film. So anyway, so the reason why I bring up that film, Exotica, directed by Adam Egoyan, is because Criterion has announced a couple of months ago. I got an email from them because I'm part of their their email letter membership. So they sent me an email about some titles that they're putting out. One of them happened to be Exotica, and I went, cool, because I've been looking for Exotica, that film, for years. Now I don't really buy films new. I I buy them in the secondary market. I buy them used, and I just haven't come across that film. And Canadian films, just in general, are really difficult to find on the secondary market. I have found some that I have been looking for, like Treed Murray. Here's a short list of Canadian films that you should watch if you haven't seen, if you come across them. One of them is Treed Murray. I'll put the I'll put the cover to it here. All right, Treed Murray is one. All right. Blood and Donuts is another. All right, Blood and Donuts. Okay. Another is Mon Oncle Antoine, which is French film, French Canadian film from Quebec. So you'll be, if you're English, you'll be watching it with English subtitles. Um, so it's called Mon Oncle Antoine. All right, and Jesus of Montreal, another Quebec film. Um, Crazy, which is Crazy, but with dots in between it. Okay, that's another really good Canadian film. All right, and there's more. Going Down the Road is another one. Going Down the Road, um, about these two guys that leave Nova Scotia and go to Toronto. Anyways, there's a bunch of really good films, but those are just some of them. Now, Can I find these films? I have found some of them. I found Treed Murray. I found Blood and Donuts. I found Mon Oncle Antoine, but I haven't found Jesus of Montreal. I have not found Going Down the Road, and I have not found Cold Comfort is another film, a Canadian film that's really good that I can't find. Whale Music is another one. So Cold Comfort and Whale Music. All right. So these are just some Canadian films that you should investigate. And watch if you can. All right. But let's get back to Exotica. Okay, so now Exotica, I said, I don't buy films new, but if I've ever had the urge to buy a film new, Exotica is the film that I would buy new. And with Criterion's announcement that they're going to be putting it out on DVD and Blu-ray, I got a bit excited actually, and I don't get excited for much things. But since I haven't been able to find that film, um, when Criterion announced it, and it's going to have a lot of extra features and everything. So, and I have like 400 of the Criterions in my collection. So I said, maybe I'll. So I decided to investigate that if I was today. Uh, so they have it up for pre-order. Criterion does have it up for pre-order, and it's being released on September 20th. So it's a few weeks away. Um, Today being the 4th, I think. Yeah, the 4th of September. So it's almost 3 weeks away that they're going to release it. Now, right now, Criterion is selling their Blu-rays for $31.96 American. All right, and their DVDs are $23.96 American. All right, so um, you see me looking over this way. I have my laptop here because there's some pricing and things that I won't be able to keep in my head. So I'm going to look at my computer or whatever. Right. Um, so so I said, I wonder how much that would cost me if I was to buy that when it came out. All right, because it's one of the few films that I have the urge to buy new. All right, so but basically what happens is you go on the Criterion website, and if you're not an American, all right, if you're Canadian, they suggest that you don't buy from them directly because of shipping and import costs at the border, right? So I looked at it, and I would have to pay tax, I would have to pay shipping, and I would have to pay import fees, and that would boost that thing close to $60 American, or even a little bit more than $60 American. But what they suggest on the website when you're going through that process is they have a Canadian distributor of their films, and that Canadian distributor is called Unobstructed View. All right, so if you're Canadian, you can go on unobstructedview.com and pick up Criterion films there for mail order or whatever, for them to mail it to you, right? So you can pick those films up there. Now, sorry, now because this is hasn't been released yet, they don't have it on unobstructedview.com as of yet. So I said, I wonder how much it would cost me if I was to buy that film off of them. And what I'm assuming is, because I looked through their website a bit, and most of their Criterion Blu-rays are all priced similarly. All right, so most of them are basically $49.98, so $50 for a Criterion Blu-ray. All right, and if you go into the local shops around where I live, that's pretty consistent to the prices in the actual, physical stores that have them. Right. Um, they're not in the $30 range. They're more in the $50 to $60 range here in Canada. All right. So um, another reason why I have large difficulty buying things new. Right. So anyway, but what they're having a sale or a permanent cut, because um, if you ever go on the Criterion website, you'll see that the regular price for their Blu-rays is $39.98. 39.95 is the regular price for most of their Blu-rays, but they've been having a sale on their Blu-rays and DVDs uh, for a long time now. So it may be, they'll put a line through that price, and then they'll put a cheaper price, which is the 31.96 price. Um, I don't know if that's more of a marketing ploy, or it's like, well, for a temporary time, we're going to reduce the price of our Blu-rays and DVDs. Um, but it's been on the website that way for, I don't know, it's got to be at least a year, right? I don't know. Maybe you can tell me if you're on the website more than I am. But every time I've gone to the Criterion website, when I look at the pricing, it's always 31.90, for the Blu-ray, marked down from 39.96, 39.95, right? Um, so it's been that way for a long time. So it may be a permanent drop in pricing, maybe because of so many other boutique cinema labels coming into the market. They're reducing their pricing since they're not like a monopoly on distribution of high-end films anymore. Anyway, um, and on this website, the unobstructed view for Canadians is the 49.98 has dropped to 39.98. So it's $40 for a Criterion Blu-ray on that site. Now, I went through the process of buying it without buying it just to see what the final cost of that would be, and it ended up being $49.13 for the unobstructed view price. Now, since they didn't have Exotica, I used this one as an example, right? Since their pricing is pretty similar for all the different criterions, I just put in Eating Raoul and I went through the process of buying Eating Raoul without buying it to see what the end cost would be. And basically they ship for $3.50 and the tax on $39.98 is $5.65. So a total of $49.13 to buy that off unobstructed view where Criterion sends you if you're a Canadian purchaser. All right, so off of Criterion, it's probably over $60 by the time you get through all the rigmarole to get it to your house, being imported from the United States, and it's $49.13 from unobstructed view if the pricing for Exotica is the same for Eating Raoul. All right, so now I decided, okay, how about Amazon? What if I go on Amazon? Maybe I can find uh, not the Criterion, but the regular Blu-ray or DVD and find out what that costs on Amazon. All right. So now I'll just go to the next image that I took. All right. So Exotica in Alliance, which is the distributor, the film distributor for Exotica before Criterion got, uh, purchased the distribution rights for it. It's an Alliance or an Alliance Atlantis film, right? Alliance is a Canadian distributor of film out of, I think they're out of Quebec. Now, they've been around since the 80s, and then they merged with Atlantis and they became Alliance Atlantis distributors, and they distributed Canadian film and some other films, to the North American market and the UK market, right? So they were called Alliance Atlantis. But in and that happened in 1998, that merger. But then uh, they kind of went out of business or they split, and you don't hear from Atlantis anymore. You still hear about Alliance, but Alliance was bought by Entertainment One, E1. You'll see those Blu-rays or DVDs around there, like triple features or quadruple features, E1, right? They ended up buying Alliance, and that was in 2013. And then E1 sold um, Alliance or all of E1, I'm not sure, but Hasbro ended up. So presently, right now in 2019, Hasbro bought all of the Alliance uh, films or whatever, right? So Hasbro basically owns Exotica right now. All right? So I guess what happened was when Hasbro um, bought Alliance, those films Criterion may have had access to now, and they picked Exotica as one of them and got the distribution rights for Exotica. Now Exotica came out in 1994, so it's not a old film, right? Um, so um, maybe they got the distribution rights from Hasbro, being a toy company is what Hasbro is mostly known for, right? Anyway, so but back in the day, it was released on a DVD, and that DVD looked like this. All right, it's basically Mia. I think her name is Mia Krishner, who's one of the main characters. She's one of the exotic dancers in the Exotic Dance Club in Toronto, where this film centers around. All right. It shows her with a spotlight. She's on stage, down on her on her knees or whatever on the stage, and a spotlight shows down on her. Anyways, here's the DVD cover, and then they came out with a second DVD cover. All right. And then they came out with a Blu-ray DVD combo. And so what I did was I wondered what the price of that Blu-ray DVD combo, because if you watch any of my other videos, I love Blu-ray DVD combos, right? I take the DVD, I transfer it, and then I watch the film on my laptop. And if I want to watch it on Blu-ray in the house or whatever, then I'll put it in the Blu-ray player and I'll watch it that way. But I mostly watch most of my films on my laptop because when I'm home, I'm watching my son a lot, and I can actually watch a film on my laptop, and my son will use the main TV to watch his YouTube or whatever, right? So I like the DVDs because I can transfer them into a half decent sized file, not a Blu-ray file that's like 30 gigs, but like a 4 gig or 7 gig or 4 or 5 gig um, DVD copy of it and watch it on my laptop, right? Um, so I love DVD Blu-ray combos, right? And also because a Blu-ray DVD combo usually comes in a Blu-ray case, and a Blu-ray case is smaller and takes up less shelf space than a DVD does. But anyway, so the Blu-ray DVD combo looks like this. Okay. All right. So I'm on Amazon and I find it, but it's out of print. All right. So um, you can't find it. It doesn't. It's not even used on Amazon. For a ridiculous price that happens so often when people find that something's out of print, they'll put it on Amazon, and charge an arm and a leg for it. All right, so it's out of print, but there's also but now there's also a Blu-ray itself release, not a Blu-ray DVD combo, a Blu-ray, and it looks like this. All right. Now this Blu-ray is a UK Blu-ray or a European Blu-ray, so it's region B, it's not region A, so it won't play on. You need a region-free Blu-ray player to play it, and it is presently from the distribution company that it has right now. It's $23.49 Canadian. I'm not sure how much the shipping for it would be or anything else, or if there'd be import fees going through customs from the UK to Canada. But you can see that it's probably going to hit the $40 range anyways, right? $35 to $40 to get that from, and then you'd need a region B. Now I wouldn't be able to play that on my Blu-ray player, but I could transfer it. You can any Blu-ray that you have, you can transfer into an MKV file. I don't know technically if it's legal or not. I don't think it's illegal as long as you don't distribute it. Um, into an MKV file and watch it on your laptop, right? So you can watch Region B if you don't have a Region B or a region free player. You can watch Region B material off a Blu-ray or a DVD, a Region 1 DVD, sorry, Region 2 DVD if you transfer them, right? Um, so that's one way. But to import that, it starts at $23.49, and then obviously it's just going to go up and up in price. And that's just for the regular DVD. Okay, sorry, Blu-ray. All right. So then um, I said I looked at maybe waiting and then maybe getting it on Amazon, because if you have Amazon Prime, a lot of the stuff is free delivery. You don't have to pay the delivery cost. Usually it's free delivery. So maybe I could save some money that way. So what I did was I took Eating Raoul again in a Criterion, and I used it as an example on Amazon to see whether what the price would be to buy Eating Raoul off Amazon, thinking that it would probably be similar to buying Exotica when Exotica comes on Amazon in a Criterion, right? Okay, so right now, Eating Raoul on the Criterion is $39.37. I don't pay anything for shipping. Tax would be $5.12 on it because I went through the process. Um, so the total is $44.49. So off of unobstructed view, it's $49.13 to get Eating Raoul, but off of Amazon, because I don't pay anything for shipping, it's $44.49 Canadian. All right. So then I said, okay, how about eBay? Well, since they don't have the DVDs on Amazon, they're all out of print or whatever. What are the costs of these things on eBay? So I went on to ebay.ca and I looked. All right. So the DVD All right, the DVD and it's two versions or whatever. Um, the lowest I found it is for $10, and but it goes in the range of $10 to $40 plus shipping. All right, so you're still looking at not just for the DVD. Okay, so you're still looking at a good amount of money. If you want the Blu-ray DVD combo that I showed you earlier, that one is $11.76 to $45.77, depending on which person you buy it off of. All right, so the cheapest I could find it for the DVD Blu-ray combo is $11.76, but the shipping on the $11.76, because it's coming from the States, is like $24 to ship it. All right, so you're still looking at, you know, 35, $36 for the Blu-ray DVD combo. That's not even a Criterion, right? Okay. And the shipping is between $18 and $24 that I found, but then the pricing is different, right? Anywhere between 11.76 and 45.77 for this DVD Blu-ray combo put out by Alliance, right? Okay. Now the strictly Blu-ray Region B from the UK or whatever, that one on eBay is anywhere between $22 and $50, but of course you still have the shipping and the import fees or whatever, right? Um, so it's just not worth it. I'm looking at maybe the if I want the Blu-ray version of it, I'd like to get the DVD Blu-ray version of it. I'm looking at somewhere around the same price as if I bought the Criterion Blu-ray, just because of its out of print status or having to ship it across the ocean or get it off eBay or whatever. So I don't know how anybody that lists on eBay actually makes any money. How do they do that? How do they make any money? Because they're charging a similar price that you would get on, let's say, Amazon, on Facebook Marketplace, but then you have to pay the shipping, which is, I've never seen any shipping that's anything less than $10 most of the time, and most of the time it's in the $20 range. So you may get something that's, occasionally, not all that often, you may get something that's like $4.99, where it's like you might get it for $10 off of Facebook Marketplace, but then you look at the shipping, and the shipping is $34.95, and you're going, really? I can take one DVD or one Blu-ray, put it in a brown envelope, and ship it oversized mail for $3.50 anywhere in Canada, right? So I don't know how much it would be to cross the border or use the U.S. Postal Service, but that type of shipping on eBay. How does anybody make any money off of eBay? I mean, with those ridiculous shipping prices. Anyway, um, so I'm looking at probably the most economic way to do it would be to get the UK Blu-ray off of Amazon for $23.49 plus whatever imports and shipping, right? Um, is I don't know. So you can find Exotica. Oh, and there's also an Adam Egoyan Blu-ray collection, the Adam Egoyan collection that you can get off Amazon, which has like 5 of his films on Blu-ray in one package. $239. Was it 239? I took a picture of it just because how ridiculous I thought that was. $293.11. Plus shipping, right? It's called the Adam Egoyan collection. It has Next of Kin, um, Speaking Parts, The Adjuster, um, Family Warning, Exotica, The Sweet Hereafter. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven of his films. 7 of his films in one Blu-ray collection. $293.11. Okay. All right. So, um, uh, so I think if I'm ever gonna, if I never find this on DVD or Blu-ray, Exotica I'm talking about, um, it's disappointing. But I have such difficulty spending $40 or $50 on one film, um, and that's what it looks like being. So if Amazon puts the Criterion up like they usually do, I'll be paying $44.49 for it, the Criterion of Exotica, And if I was to buy it off of unobstructed view, it'd be 49.13. If it follows the pricing, Amazon and obstructed view, unobstructed view follows the pricing that they did with Eating Raoul, I'll be paying almost 50 or $45 for the Criterion. Now, I don't know about you. I just have a large difficulty spending 40 or $50 on a movie. Do you have that issue? And if you do, how is this going to survive? How is you know physical media going to survive if most people see? I think like I had a previous video where I said where physical media is going, and I think it's going into the hands of of the Criterions and the the Kino Lorbers and those type of boutique cinema labels are going to be the ones that are distributing films, and maybe a lot of the films aren't even going to be available because Universal or Disney or whoever, they're all coming out with streaming services for their films. So maybe half the films are not even going to give to third parties to distribute in physical media form. They're just going to stream them on their own services, right? So I'm not sure where physical media is exactly going, but if it does survive, it's going to be surviving in the hands of boutique cinema labels putting out high-end versions of movies for large amounts of money, right? So I think the time, if if the major studios and the distribute if the major studios are filmmakers, whether they're major or minor, um, make deals and put everything on streaming services, then what you're going to be doing in order to watch movies or TV shows is you're going to have to be joining up to these streaming services. And it's not like you just join one and then you have all this content. No, you're going to join five, six, seven, eight, 10, and then it's going to be like twice the price of your cable bill, right? So I'm not sure what you're going to do. And if let's say Universal decides to take all of their movies and they have a streaming service, Universal streaming service, and they put all their movies on their streaming service, and they stop distributing them like Disney does. Disney doesn't, it's rare they'll put something out when it's new or whatever, um, distribute it on physical media, and then you never see it again for like years on years, right? So much of Disney's back catalog you just can't find, right? So if all the Universal, Sony, all these companies go to streaming services, and that's the only way that you'll be able to watch their films, what choice will you have except to sign up to all these different streaming services? And if they're all the price of Netflix, which in Canada I think my Netflix thing is almost $20 now. Once you get to five streaming services, you're over $100, right? So I don't know if that's viable for most people, right? I think they'll have to pick a streaming service that they'll use. Maybe it'll be Disney Plus they'll pick, but they won't pick Universal, and you'll have people with like only access to like one or two services, and all the films and everything off of the other services they just won't see anymore, and that's going to be really irritating for them. So um, And if, let's say, Universal decides just to stream and not distribute on physical media, um, you better start picking up physical media now, um, or you're never going to see the film unless you join the streaming service, right? But I think physical media basically is going to go, and it already is showing that it's going to start going out of the mainstream, and it's going towards boutique labels who put out really nice editions, like collector editions, like high-end editions of these films where you'll get a film in a really, really nice um, copy of a 4K or a Blu-ray, which looks so much better than the streaming services puts out, right? And then they'll add a bunch of extras, interviews, commentaries, so on and so forth, posters, booklets, and all that, and then charge you like 30 or $40 for that film. So what you're going to do as a physical media collector, unless you have a very large budget for your hobby, you're going to have to pick and choose what you buy, just like almost in any other collecting or hobby industry where you used to be able to get mostly everything. I mean, I don't know. I'm an old guy, right? I'm not young, but I remember the days I'd go into a comic book shop when I was a kid, and I could, pick up basically all the comics that I wanted with the amount of money I was earning from a paper route or from doing odds and ends jobs with my allowance, and I could pick up all the comic books that I wanted, right? Or baseball cards or sports cards. I could pick up whatever sports card I wanted to pick up because they were reasonably priced. But then what happens is, it changes. Everything starts to go up in price. Some company enters it and puts out a really, really nice um, edition of a comic book that's so much higher end, and then all the other companies follow suit, or the baseball cards go from being your average card that maybe you put in the spokes of your bike to a really nice, thick, beautiful photography, really good card stock. But now instead of spending, like 39 cents for a pack of baseball cards, you're spending $7, right? Um, so you'll see it in almost every hobby that becomes popular, is the money starts pouring into that, and the quality of the stuff improves, but the price just goes out of range for so many people. And then you'll see a mass exit from that type of collecting, right? So, or a person will only collect small amounts of it. So that may be what's happening in film these days on physical media, is the boutique labels are grabbing the films, putting them out in really high-end editions, because that's the only way that they can cover their costs and stay in business. Because the main, um, Sony's or whatever don't want to distribute physical media anymore because they're going towards the streaming services. Um, so you're basically going to knock most of the mainstream out of collecting physical media, and it'll be a niche market where people just love the hobby, and they don't mind spending the extra money um, to continue it. And if that's the way it goes, I hope everybody wants to spend 30, 40, $50 on, you know, on one movie, or maybe they'll put out like a Friday the 13th collection for $250, or something along those lines, right? So, um, and then you'll fork over that money, hopefully. Otherwise, physical media will shrink smaller and smaller, right? Now, unfortunately, I do not have the budget to do that type of thing. I just have extreme difficulty spending 40 or $50 on one film, even if it's in a nice package, right? Because for me, it's the actual film that's the important thing, not the package that surrounds it, right? And yes, I would prefer a visually more pleasing presentation of the film, but I'm not willing to spend an arm and a leg to get that, right? So um, if it's a choice between a DVD of a film, and I can get that DVD for $1, or um, even in the secondary market, find a Criterion version of it, or a Eureka Cinema version of it, or a Kino Lorber version of it, or a Blue Underground version of it, and then I'm spending $30 for that film. And even in the secondary market, I'm still spending $25 for that film instead of $1 just to get it on a Blu-ray. I'm sorry, but the difference between a Blu-ray and a DVD is not, 30 times or 25 times the quality, right? So if I can find it used for a couple of bucks, then yeah, I'll pick it up. But I'm not going to spend $25 on a boutique cinema, used boutique cinema copy of a film that if I get it on DVD, it's $1, right? But that's just me, all right? I'm an older guy, so uh, younger people may not have the same opinion as mine, right? Anyway, so that's what Exotica, my investigation of Exotica, my favorite film, with the uh, where I got some excitement that Criterion was putting out that film in their collection. But if I want to get it, the minimum I'm spending is $45 if I want that film new. It looks like it, anyway. It's $45, and it's the only way I'm going to buy it because I'm not going to spend $40 on a regular version of that if I can spend 45 on a Criterion version of it. Um, but most likely, I'm probably not going to do either. I'm just going to keep looking for it in the secondary market, and maybe I'll find it on DVD or Blu-ray at some point. Because usually, the movies that I'm looking for, I eventually find at some point. Right? It's just a bit of patience. And thank you for watching this video. What do you think of my opinions? What do you think of what I said? Do you disagree with what I say? Do you agree? Are you willing to spend $40 or $50 on one film just to get it on a 4K or a Blu-ray instead of on a DVD with all the extras and uh, extra features and things like that on it? Maybe a booklet with it. Are you willing to do that? I hope enough of you are because that looks like that's where it's going, and I'm not going to be one of them, but I will find what I want to find just like you are. I just won't get it new. I'll get it used, right? So eventually it always pops up, right? So just, I don't know. I just have difficulty spending that amount of money. What do you think? What do you think? Am I being stingy? Am I betraying physical media by not buying physical media new? And I should. That way we keep all these companies in business who are distributing these films. I understand that point, but I don't agree with it. Let me know in the comments what you think. All right. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you in the next one. And you have a good day. And bye for now.